There are interesting updates from the Middle East. Here, in a war Tehran once promised would reshape the region, the only thing reshaped is Iran's own military, flattened, blinded, and humiliated in a matter of days. With both its offensive and defensive capabilities shattered beyond repair, Iran now scrambles not for victory, but for a way out. Euromaidan Press media outlet says, recall in the opening hours of the Israeli operation against Iran, it became immediately clear that Iran's air defense network was utterly insufficient to repel an attack from a modern and well-prepared adversary. Already weakened by previous Israeli strikes, Iranian air defenses were systematically dismantled in a series of swift, precision attacks spearheaded by Israeli F-35 stealth fighters. Iran's regime claimed to have downed 4 such jets. Yet the evidence provided was quickly debunked as embarrassingly obvious Photoshop manipulations. In reality, Israeli aircraft rapidly dominated Western Iranian airspace, freely operating even over Tehran itself. An unprecedented humiliation, Euromaidan Press recalls. The Iranian Air Force was also quickly neutralized, with Israeli planes striking Iranian jets directly on their runways and systematically targeting radar installations, leaving Iran's Air Force unable to respond or put up resistance against Israeli air power. Following this crippling operation, Iran attempted to retaliate with ballistic missiles. While several of them managed to penetrate Israeli defenses, Iran claimed they launched hundreds, indicating that most Iranian ballistic missiles were intercepted before they could hit their targets. On the second day of the operation, Israeli aircraft rapidly identified and destroyed approximately 1/3 of Iran's missile launchers, dramatically reducing the volume of subsequent missile attacks. Further worsening Iran's trouble, Israel took swift and decisive action to neutralize Iran's vaunted underground missile stockpiles. Although Iran frequently showcased these missiles in highly symbolic videos intended to intimidate opponents, Israel simply destroyed the entrances to these bunker complexes, Euromaidan Press reports. Consequently, despite the vast stores of missiles presumably remaining intact underground, Iran now lacks timely access to these weapons, rendering them irrelevant to the current conflict. Iran's widely touted Shaheed drones, famous for their use by Russia against Ukraine, proved astonishingly ineffective against Israeli defenses. The Israeli operation also delivered a devastating blow to Iranian military leadership. Over 20 high-ranking commanders, including senior officers of the Iranian Armed Forces and the elite Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, were killed within the first hours. Euromaidan Press says. Israel then meticulously targeted and eliminated their replacements as soon as they were appointed, paralyzing Iran's ability to respond effectively. Facing catastrophic losses and a rapidly deteriorating strategic position, Iran's regime quickly spiraled into panic mode. Tehran's statements that they are ready to stop the attacks after Israel stops indicate not just willingness, but a call to resume negotiations proposing a mutual ceasefire. Simultaneously, Iranian leadership, including the Ayatollah himself, is reported to be seeking refuge in Russia, echoing Bashar al-Assad's similar requests during the Syrian regime's collapse.
Thousands of people are fleeing from Iran and Israel by air, land, and sea as the conflict between the two countries continues to rage. A large number of people leaving the Middle Eastern region are foreign nationals who are being evacuated with the help of their governments. China said it evacuated 1,600 of its citizens from Iran and several hundred others from Israel. Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiaquan said Beijing would continue to do its utmost to assist in the safe transfer and evacuation of Chinese citizens. The European Union said it facilitated the evacuation of some 400 people from Israel via Jordan and Egypt as part of its efforts to coordinate an emergency response within the 27-nation bloc. Germany flew 171 people out of Amman on a special flight on Wednesday. Some 174 people returned on Thursday. Furthermore, 89 Bulgarians and 59 nationals from Slovenia, the US, Belgium, Albania, Kosovo and Romania have been evacuated from Israel by plane to Sofia. Over 100 people from Romania arrived in the capital Bucharest Friday on army transport flights from the Middle East. The Romanian Ministry of Defense sent planes after Romanian nationals requested assistance leaving the conflict zone. The Ministry of Defense did not specify in which country the Romanians embarked. Some 150 Romanians returned home, authorities said. Days of attacks and reprisals by the two enemies have shuttered airspace across the Middle East, severely disrupting commercial flights and leaving people unable to get in or out of the region easily.